have any chance of being successful. But this is their hubris. This is how they think. And they would rather see the end of the planet than the end of their power, because the end of their power is the end of the world for them. They'd rather see the end of the world than the end of their imperial privilege and power. And that's why this moment is so dangerous.
It's amazing that you said that and you articulated it that way. That is what I have been saying for the longest. I don't think the majority of people who watch what is going on globally, I don't think that they digest the reality of the moment. I don't think they sit down and think that these people are willing to turn the world into a flame, a fire, to try to maintain global hegemony. I mean, it is stated in the U.S. national policy about preventing any rival or combination of rivals to supplant her or even become her equal. And she has built up enough armament to destroy the world 30 times over if she can't rule. That, to me, that shows you the lunacy in the politicians to not build enough weapons for one time, but for 30 times over to destroy the world. And I want to ask you, how long do you think this can go on? Think about this. The United States, she is extending her empire to maintain dollar hegemony. But the more she extends her empire, the more she must borrow and spend to maintain the empire. So it's a self-defeating motion of the United States. How long can this go on?
You know, that's the $64,000 question. Nobody knows the exact answer to that. And I don't have a crystal ball either. But it's that line from the Hemingway novel, you know, I went broke slowly, and then all of a sudden, very rapidly. You know, there's a way in which things start to shift and things start to accelerate, right? And I think we're starting to see that. We're seeing the movement of de-dollarization, which has been happening for about 15 years now. The global reserve currency is no longer uniquely the dollar. It's fractured into about 30 different local currencies. China is doing mostly swaps with other countries, so they don't need to even establish themselves as the global standard reserve currency. They just kind of do trade swaps with each other in each other's currency. And so there's a slow fragmentation, but that thing is starting to snowball. But, you know, the real question is, how long can they do it? And really the question is, how long do they think they can do it? And what is their backup plan, right? And why are they thinking this way, right? Why are they thinking this way? What is their backup plan? Well, the backup plan is, if you can read it in the U.S. Nuclear Posture Review, you can read it in the deliberations of the Atlantic Council. Their backup plan is preemptive nuclear strikes. Okay, and all of that is written into 2004, 2010, etc. Quadrennial Review, Nuclear Posture Review. All of these things have this documentation. Atlantic Council just recently came out with a serious document saying that we need to prepare preemptive nuclear strikes against China. Okay, now China does not have what is called launch on warning. They separate the warheads from the delivery systems, and so they're very, very cautious. They don't want a nuclear war. They have a minimal nuclear deterrent, probably a few hundred, nuclear weapons. The U.S. has thousands. But by putting out this kind of language and by telegraphing this existential threat against not one, but two nuclear powers, I think they're loading the dice. Why are they doing this? There's a fundamental lack of imagination. There's a fundamental ideological blindness. I think there's also among some of the neocons, some of them are religious fundamentals, and they believe in the rapture or the apocalypse or something like that. And that's, to be honest, that is a conflict of interest. That's That's a theological conflict of interest. If you believe in the rapture, you should not be anywhere near a weapon, right? That's my belief. But I mean, think about Tony Blinken. I don't know if you've ever seen Tony Blinken playing the blues. They consider him a
Oh yes.
blues in Washington, and he plays Hoochie Coochie Man, right? Now let's think about this. White Ivy League, spoiled, entitled, ruling elite from the lizard class playing the blues. I mean, kind of boggles the mind. But here's the other thing is that you don't get to play the blues. People who play bluesmen are people who have suffered. And the blues is about suffering. And I assure you, Anthony Blinken has never suffered. He has imposed untold suffering on people, on the planet. But I don't believe that he has suffered. I believe that he may have been inconvenienced from time to time, right?
Right.
But he hasn't suffered. But still, there is this mindset, this entitlement that they claim not only the world, but also the world's culture and the world's experience and the world's suffering for themselves. There's no end to their appropriation and their sense of entitlement. And that grandiosity is what is potentially leading us to the doorstep of World War III. I believe, in all honesty, that we're very, very close. Everything that we see, for example, in Korea, in Japan, on Taiwan, in the Philippines, just a few days ago, all of these signal that there are so many triggers, so many traps, so many mines that are being laid, that sooner or later one of them is going to go off, one of those fuses is going to go off, and those fuses are connected to an entire network of explosions that are very, very dangerous. I don't want to be alarmist, but that is honestly what I believe.
Told you to walk away. That was my first and last mistake. I'm blue without your face. But what can I do? 'Cause I'm just a sinking ship, and you're just a pair of lips that I've lost in